Hello, Cooper here, back with another Real Estate Marketing Minute. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about why we believe every agent should own their own domain. So specifically, a domain is basically the name of where your website lives. It's what is in the URL bar in your browser when you're browsing a website. Pretty much every brokerage on earth will give you a free website when you join them, and pretty much every single website you get from your brokerage will actually live on what's called a subdomain. So there's an extra period in the URL. So like agentname.jpwoolman.com. That first part, the agent name dot, is the subdomain on the domain JP Woolman. That's all technical mumbo jumbo, but essentially what you need to know is that we highly recommend that you buy your own domain. You should own your name on the internet. And there's some really compelling and simple reasons why. The first of which is just that Google really matters. Most people actually navigate the internet through Google. A lot of agents, I think they tend to ignore Google, but technically what Google displays when someone searches your name is what over 60% of your clients and your customers are going to see before they interact with you, before they see your Facebook page, before they see your website. So what shows up in Google when someone searches your name is really important, and it also is critical because it helps you build credibility, right? When someone Google searches your name, they're trying to gain some validation. They're trying to learn about who you are and how successful your business is, how good of an agent you are. So the more places you can show up in Google, the more quality results you can present in Google when someone types in your name, the better off you're going to be because you're building good credibility from the start. So owning your own domain improves your website's rankings in search results. Subdomains do not rank well in Google, period. Actually, the single biggest improvement to a website's rankings I've ever seen was a large resort. It's the number one family resort in the country. I used to manage their digital marketing, but we moved their blog, so all their content, from a subdomain to their root domain, and they saw massive increases in their overall search ranking. So you can essentially do that same thing, but for your entire website right now, if your website lives on a subdomain. So owning your own domain helps in Google search results because subdomains get really poor rankings. The other reason why it really helps in search results is that the domain you're going to buy is going to be your name. That's the number one Google search that you need to show up for. It's just when people search your name. So there are some great reasons why you should be buying your own domain and having your website live on that. Here's the flip side of that. So if you don't own your own domain, you're less likely to rank at the very top in search results when someone searches your name. And essentially that means you're losing on Google. When someone Google searches your name, it's like 70+% of clicks happen in the first few results. So if your website isn't there in the first few results when someone searches your name, that person who already knows you, they're already typing your name into Google, right? You've already done the work to build a relationship there or marketed to them to the degree that they know your name. They're going to end up on another company's website, right? Realtor.com, Zillow.com, HomeSnap even is trending in search results right now. Those are websites that are SEO optimized, have huge marketing budgets, and they are winning in Google search. And the last thing you want to happen is for your lead, someone from your sphere who knows you, that you've worked hard to convince you're a great real estate agent, to end up on the website of some billion-dollar company. Because what happens is that person, the second they touch that other website, they get entered into that company's marketing funnel. They're going to get retargeted. They're going to get maybe push notifications. They're probably going to get hit with a bunch of email signups. They're probably going to actually become a lead for someone else. So the last thing you want is for your client, your contact, to end up in the marketing funnel of one of the biggest companies in real estate. So here's at a very high level how you can go about getting your own domain. It's pretty simple to get it. It's very complicated to set it up properly. So first step is to go to GoDaddy is easy. There's a lot of different websites you can use like domains.com where you can buy a domain from them. There's a search there. Ideally, you're going to buy yourname.com, so cooperbus.com is what I would want to buy. If that's not available, maybe it's because you have a common name or something like that. Add the word realtor to the end of it because that would be a common search, right? Someone who knows you might search your name and then the word realtor. So that can be good too. So you want one of those two, either just your name or your name plus the word realtor, .com. Don't go for anything other than .com just because it's confusing. So you should be able to pretty easily buy that domain from GoDaddy or a similar website. You're generally not going to be paying more than $10 or $12 a month for that domain. It's a subscription that you have to buy into. But if you're paying much more than that, you're probably getting tricked a little bit, or maybe your name is famous enough that they believe it's worth a lot more, in which case I would just add the word realtor. You should pay anywhere between $1 to $2 to $12 a month for your domain. And then once you have purchased it, you own it, you're basically renting it from them, right? You're paying like a monthly fee for it. Essentially, you're going to need tech help. Hopefully you have someone who can help you with this. Agents at JP Woman, they just email us their information and we take care of it for them, this website transition. But it's a pretty complicated process you have to go through. It's a couple different steps where you're actually managing something called your DNS records. Gets very technical. Your GoDaddy support may be able to help you walk through some of that. But if you want to attempt that yourself, the actual transition, probably the best way would just be do some Google searches about how to change domains. Watch some YouTube videos that will help you make those changes yourself. But ideally, you have tech support that you can contact and help you do that, because there are some ways you could potentially kind of screw up your website, or at least your website would go down or stop functioning for a period of time if you don't do it correctly. So those are some of our reasons why we believe every agent should own their own domain. If you're serious about your real estate business, you should own your own domain. I mean, if you're planning on this as your career, or it's already been your career for a while, you should own your own domain, hands down. If you've got questions about how to do that, or like you're having trouble finding your name available as a domain, you want to just get some insight in that, feel free to comment down below. If you have other video topics that you'd love to hear us talk a little bit about, or questions to answer, feel free to comment or contact us in any way. We'd love to do videos based on recommendations. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of these videos, you can subscribe on YouTube or like our Facebook page. Both those will allow you to get notifications about new videos, content as it comes out. Thank you for your time and have a good day.